Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Hello, everybody. I am with the amazing Dr. Alison Kay. Hello.
Hi, Daniel. Hi, everybody.
I'm just so grateful. We're just really we're so excited. It's like Christmas Day. It's like, yay, we're doing this interview. We're both big on things like chakras and all that. So we're really just excited about having the conversation about those such things as that, but also that this amazing new work that you have, new old work, right? Everything's like new and old. By this new amazing work you have in the new book too, the Dragon Master Creatrix, conversations with the female spiritual teacher for these new times. So we're going to talk about what that all means. But I tell you, Alison is amazing, and we're going to get into it right now. I'm going to tell you all about Alison.
Okay.
Yeah, right. We got to talk. We got to brag on you. We got to let people know how awesome you are. So Dr. Alison J Kay has secrets no one else uses to upgrade, inspire, and disrupt old paradigms within her community and the collective. And I can tell you that I'm sure that she does know many things that others do not know based on everything I've learned about her. She is an award-winning #1 international best-selling author and the founder of the Vibrational UPgrade TM System. She is an experienced subtle energies practitioner and natural healer with a holistic approach towards helping others thrive in mind, body, and spirit. This is reinforced by her 10 years in Asia studying this subtle energies and ancient wisdom. With 20 plus years of working in and teaching yoga, meditation, energy medicine, MindBody Fitness, longevity, and holistic health, with specialized focus on the chakra system, Dr. Alison brings a unique perspective that facilitates massive change. Dr. Alison's mission is to support the next higher evolution of the collective and create change for the health of this planet and those that are ready to unleash every part of the magic within them. Oh, yeah. Backed by the potency of her vibrational upgrade container, she hosts a wildly popular Activate Your Magic monthly program synced with the potency and support of the moon and offering group clearings and activations. Her signature program, Magic Manifestation and Money Flows, facilitates massive money, health, and spiritual and life-enhancing shifts to hundreds of clients worldwide, while her advanced clients are supported by her Vibrational Upgrade Mastermind Group, certification program, international retreat programs at the same time. So you don't need to believe in this in order to know that it works, because the beauty of what she does is once you experience it, you'll know it's true for sure. You'll feel the shift. So Alison, that is so true. I was just on a show myself recently, and it's nothing like just putting people into the energy. And you don't have to ask people to believe it. Just do it, feel the experience, and you'll know. You'll know. Your mind will question everything, but you'll know.
You want to do one? You want me to run through a clearing for money?
Sure. Well, let's do that, but let's let people get to know you a little bit first, and we'll definitely get into it. And people are gonna, hey, we got like that teaser now, right? Everybody can get your money clearing pretty soon now from Dr. Alison, and it's going to be really amazing. So, Dr. Alison, what I was really, 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 really curious about when I heard you spent all this time in Asia, learning all this stuff, I was like, how in the heck did you find yourself over there? What's drew you to do this? How were you able to do that? Were you working odd jobs, or what were you doing while you're over there? I mean, when I hear people studied X amount of years doing something, it just kind of fascinates my mind. So tell me about what led you into that journey, learning all the things that you learned.
Okay, it's so fun. Here we go. So in high school, senior year, I became an exchange student in Venezuela, and I had an exchange student live with my family and I from Venezuela. And so I already did international travel before even leaving high school. And it was something that was so important to me that I really pleaded with my parents in a way I never had as a child growing up for something. So apparently it was important to me. They knew it too. And they granted me that. And so when I left, I also did I had my bachelor's, and then I moved over to the West Coast, had a career in politics. And once I finished working on the 92 election season for a couple of years, I'd had so much success during that campaign season that I was stressed, and I wasn't okay with stress. I wasn't okay with living that way. I was walking through a bookstore in San Francisco at the time, and a purple book leapt off the shelf on meditation right at my feet. I couldn't walk anymore forward. Otherwise I would have stepped on it or over it, and it just wasn't the way I would be. So obviously I paid attention to what leapt off the shelf in front of me and began meditating from there. And so I was already experiencing, like, the university, even the undergraduate university I went to, Daniel, it had a sense of Asian energy to it. I didn't even know it at the time. I was tracked for an Ivy League on a track more set up for me by my parents. And I went with my cousin just to check out this university, to go for a party one weekend from high school. We drove out there, and I loved it. Energetically, intuitively, I knew this was like a home for me for my bachelor's. What I found out later during that time, though, was that there was a Buddhist pagoda up in the mountains. And the first book written by a Westerner, an American, on mindfulness came out of this university, UMass Amherst. So wherever you go, there you are. I think it's John Kabat-Zinn, that one. So there was a real, and I took my first yoga class freshman year, first semester, as an elective, all semester long. Got turned on to like buying incense and the first like Asian, Indian, or more specifically Indian yogic store that was there. So then I moved to San Francisco to go for my master's, ended up in this political career, put off going for the master's at that time, did eventually get one in politics. But point being is that then I used to go to all the Chinese, the Chinatown in San Francisco all the time, and picked up the I Ching and learned to read that at age like 19. So I've had this kind of natural predisposition to be interested. There's something inside of me that I gradually began to bring out. Fast forward, traveled overseas after the election season, living in a couple of different locations around the world for like months at a time. And then came back to the States, went for my master's in public administration, graduated, realized that if change was going to happen, protecting the environment, because that was my focus with the political work in the public administration, it was a focus on environmental policy. Change wasn't ready to happen at that grandiose level. Fossil fuels were still full on. The market demand hadn't yet shifted. So I realized that if change was going to happen, it needed to be happening one person at a time in order to reach that collective level and that 100th monkey theory. So I went back into using my bachelor's, which ultimately was in English literature, teaching in the classroom. And alongside that, learned my first energy medicine modality and kept learning, and had energy medicine and holistic wellness sessions alongside my classroom teaching career. 2.5 years into this classroom teaching in the local public inner city school system. And I was teaching meditation to the students. In fact, the middle school students, especially boys with ADD and ADHD tendencies or labels. I realized one Saturday morning, balancing my checkbook, this wasn't good enough. I wasn't going to be in this. I felt caged. I felt like there was a level of non-adventure and non-fun and non-abundance. Frankly, I had a master's and I'd only taken out a student loan the last year. So I was like, I didn't have a big, huge, heavy responsibility there because I'd worked all the way through my master's. And yet I, on a master's level teacher salary, couldn't have basic housing, basic car, basic needs covered with grace and ease and with adventure and fun. And it wasn't okay with me. Simultaneously to that, I was having my hands over a client in a session and was aware that stuff was changing and was excited about what I was perceiving under my hands and what changes she was showing. And I think it was like the third session with her. I asked, okay, how can I get more robust results? So what happened was a colleague of mine who had come back from Korea teaching English as a second language, not in the international school system, turned me on to in response to my asking intuitively, okay, how does it get any better than this? What else is possible here? I learned about the international school system. So I did what I had to do to apply. I went to the place where they had the weekend long conference, did a bunch of interviews with directors from international schools around the world, got a bunch of job offers, chose the Far East or Taiwan, the small democratic traditional Chinese island, because they're able to be traditional there. So I could learn from what I consider the seat of not only who has had a 5,000-year-old tradition of Taoist philosophy, which I had learned from the I Ching, and I had been a meditation teacher for how long and had learned yoga, but also that their society still organizes around energy and the understanding of how it works. And in fact, upon living there as a teacher and an administrator at an international school where the kids attract to come back to the States to Ivy League schools, I realized that one of the reasons why there's suffering in the West is because we seem to run from looking within. We seem to be geared outwardly. You know, we're very active and young and productive and focused on the material. We don't have a culture in the West that supports going within. Whereas when I lived over there, there were all these monks in robes riding their scooters in the morning market that I'd see, or when I'd go on break to Thailand, I'm in Bangkok, there's monks in robes smoking a cigarette on their cell phone at the subway. And so it was for me a reminder of how it permeates that hemisphere, that going within is a normal practice. And so I feel like the upbringing we've had in the West and the cultural indoctrination has been look outside of yourself to an authority figure like the church or like the doctor, like science. But when it comes to going within, don't do that because there's a boogeyman or a monster under the bed, or a boogeyman in the closet, or you face you're crazy. When in fact, in Buddhism, the basic Buddhist tenet is every human mind is a neurotic mind. Here are the tools, i.e. all of the meditation tools, to work with your own particular flavor of neuroses. So understanding how, then I had a whole ton of treatments, like multiple times a week I would go and study with different traditional Taoist techniques like reflexology or Tuina massage and herbalism and acupuncture. And I would talk with them as best I could with my non-completely fluent Chinese to understand how energy flowed. And then I went and got my yoga teacher certification the 10th year over there in Asia, in my Chinese New Year break, my last year. And that blew everything even more wide open. So I returned to the States with the mission of helping alleviate the pain and suffering, and instead knowing and restoring power to within you. Because if you shift your consciousness, your whole physiology and subtle energy system shifts what it emanates out there, and then the external world follows. So just like quantum physics now talks about, the wave happens before the particle. So traditional Chinese medicine says where qi goes, or vital life force energy or prana, where qi goes, blood follows, meaning where energy goes, matter follows. And nowadays I say that actually where our consciousness goes, where our focus goes and takes our consciousness, that's where energy goes, and then the material follows. Physical matter gets created. So it's about restoring the empowerment to everybody within. And meanwhile, like in 2011, then I got asked to be a host of a radio show all focused on the Mayan galactic shift in 2012, which I was doing nothing with, but it was a big yes intuitively. So I did it for 2.5 years and interviewed experts on it, was one of the experts on a cruise down to Chichen Itza on December 21st, 2012. We got special permission to work with a Mayan shaman at Chichen Itza's main pyramid on December 21st, 2012. It was such a big deal. TV crews were there from around the world. I was on TV as far away as Poland, it was reported to me from somebody I knew in Poland. So I've been working with this understanding that not only the Mayan culture, but also Yogi Bhajan says this about the Yuga, Kali Yuga. We've shifted now eras. The Mayans say this is now the era of construction. We've left the era of destruction. And there's a couple of other cultures that understood 2012 was an important point date. To 2032, it's a 20-year window of the greatest shift for humanity ever. And many call it the spiritual awakening time. So there it is. I came back from Asia with this understanding of how to go within and work with your subtle energy system in your mind and consciousness to recognize your own empowerment, to reduce your suffering and actually live up to your human potential in the midst of what's been considered the spiritual awakening times.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And so it is. All right.
It's a lot, hey?
That's it. It's wonderful. Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, what a beautiful, I mean, you're just, what I really get is such a buzz of energy from you that, your soul is just so buzzing with the energy of what is wanting to really unfold at every level here on the planet, right? When you're talking about politics, you're talking about the environment, you're talking about people waking up, the whole thing. So you're in the midst of all of this. And yeah, I mean, yeah, and is there something about 2030, 2032, whatever number we use, but same things come to me. And it's just like, hey, this big shifts are happening right now. It's time to get roll up your sleeves, people. Come on now. It's really an intense time for a lot of people. And so, but what you're doing, I mean, what you learned and whatnot, what would you say are some of what are some more, I mean, you already talked about a little bit, but you've got this vibrational upgrade system, energy medicine system. Mm-hmm. But you learned foundationally about some of these things while you were in Asia. What are some of the key things you've learned with all that? I mean, you already highlighted some of them. Tell us some more. I'm like, come on, we want to learn. What are some secrets? You give out one or two of your secrets here now. What did you learn about all this stuff?
Danielle, it's so funny because I'm sorry, I've been dealing with a Danielle today right before this, so excuse. Danielle, it's so funny you say that because I've been attuning people when I first became a Reiki master. After a bit, I was attuning people to Usui Reiki. I'm only 6 removed from the founder of Usui Reiki. It's a really pure lineage. Mm-hmm. So I've been a teacher for a while. Obviously, I was a classroom teacher and a meditation teacher. I'm a natural, apparently. I used to play school with my girlfriends, as a tween. I remembered this, in the last couple of years. You used to do this with your girlfriends at age 12, being a teacher. So you're funny. You was saying, give us more of your secrets, because I've been stepping out more as a teacher. When I created Vibrational UPgrade System, then it became not only magic manifestation and money flow signature program for 3 months, but that's the prerequisite to the mastermind. And in the mastermind is where I am teaching, and it's where I'm certifying. And it's not just in Reiki. I have 4 other energy medicine modalities. One's Tibetan, another one is Chinese Qigong, and there's 2 more. And then all of the yoga and meditation decades combined together to be the system I train in. This is the first of my 4 books. This is my 4th book, the most recent one, where I let out the most secrets I've ever let out before. So you're right on my vibe. It's funny you asked it that way, that you did. Thanks for being so perceptive. Mm-hmm. So you want a secret, do you? Let me tune into you and see what would support you, and then therefore your listeners. So the stage it feels like we're at in the awakening times, I'll put that in air quotes, is there's people who are awakened and they look at the memes on, how do you say? Do you say memes or memes on social media?
Memes.
Okay. I've heard it said both ways. I say memes too, more typically. So the memes that are inspirational, like the law of attraction, or a quick blurb of ancient wisdom, surrender rather than try to control everything. But I feel like in knowing truly the nuances of the spiritual path, the nitty gritty nuance, boots on the ground aspects of it, those memes, while inspirational, they don't always match where you're at. So you could be at a point where you've taken in all of this energy clearing and energy activations, and you've gotten your chakras much more aligned, your chi is flowing much more throughout your system. Your consciousness is much more purified. Your mind is a lot more manageable. You don't have the runaway ego mind like a dog is running you on its leash instead of you walking the dog. Surrender is good when you're at that stage. But when it comes to incorporating the energy shifts or the yin, because that's within, with the yang or the external or action, if somebody is taking all of this new stuff about spirituality, I see a lot of the times people go imbalanced and they start to think like if they just listen to these energy medicine clearings or this energy medicine activation or this transmission or whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about, then that's going to do the work for them. Mm-hmm. And I have a certification as a personal trainer, by the way. And part of that, my recertification was as a behavioral change specialist that my ACE, the American Council on Exercise, has backed by ICF, the International Coaching Federation. But I have been focused, psychology was my first major. I've been focused on change my whole adult life. How do we be the happiest, most thriving versions of ourselves? In these times we're in now, everything's rebalancing, including the yin yang within you, within me, not genderized, and then in the genderized ways, right? So if all I'm doing is taking in energy medicine clearings and activations or transmissions, and I'm doing all this internal shifting, action is needed. We have the inspiration come in or the guidance come in where our heart gets more excited and we uplift. And so do that, follow that upliftment. That's intuitive. It's not just the third eye with cool imagery. It's intuitive in the heart. When the heart uplifts, that's also guidance. Do that. So we follow that guidance. That may require an action step beyond signing up for that workshop or beyond listening to that interview or listening to those clearings. It could mean start that new business. And where I see people go and collapse is coming out of the passivity and the recognition of, wow, this spiritual stuff is so cool. This energy stuff is so cool. And then what I also see on the more materialized side is corporate people. I'm using that as my example for materialism because it's the most didactic, opposing. This is how we teach, right? Teach art, you show the opposites to get a concept across. Please excuse this. This is not meant to generalize. But at the corporate level, where you have pressure to be productive and quotas and measurements, or in a business like my own, it may seem like the corporation is having wellness programs that sponsor meditation for their insurance coverage. And so you dip into meditation, or there's an increase in yoga classes and meditation classes being offered. And that's as far as you go, but you do have some level of opening into the non-physical, into consciousness and energy. Or you have wealthier people now starting to donate to protecting the earth. So there's the rebalancing from both sides, spiritual people getting more comfortable with having money and even wealth, and wealthy people getting more comfortable with being spiritual, with the stigmas gone, because that's what's rebalancing. So that inactivity, one of the secrets is actually me giving guidance, wisdom based on what I've observed with the masses during these times. And I know that you have a lot of people interested in money flows and business, starting up their own revenue streams and learning how to work, allow themselves to have more money. And one of the ways is not being paralyzed by fear. Here's another piece of a secret. Part of this is mostly known by now. If you go to do something that's new, that you're afraid about, I'm going to use the word anxious. If you have the butterflies in the stomach and you're nervous, that's actually the same exact physiological reaction as excitement. Same exact physiological bodily response, excitement, anxiousness. So please expect to be intimidated by stepping out and doing something new. And when I'm up to day in and day out with the folks, particularly in my signature program, Magic Manifestation and Money Flow, is as they're getting the new inspiration, or in the beginning, I'm getting the guidance for them because they're not clear enough yet to hear their own. And I'm perceiving in their field what opportunities are around them that they could take action on. The action step, I'm there clearing out the lack of courage, the fear of actually, because people are more afraid of having what they want than not having what they want. People are more afraid of their power than they are of being afraid. They're more used to being afraid. And so then there becomes this whole slew of questions. If I take this next step and I get what I want and I start being that person and living that life, what am I going to lose? What am I going to have to give up? What will they think of me? So expecting the mental noise from the ego mind, whose job is to keep us safe, like lions and tigers and bears, oh my, in the jungle days, when we're back in the hunter and gathering days, we still have that wiring in our cerebral cortex. It's at the base, you know, the adrenals, the release. So it's going to happen. And yet in the face of the unknown, expecting the ego mind to react into, do I have to fight here or do I go into flight? Expecting some kind of protective shutdown or mechanism when you go into the new and the unknown, and choosing the thing anyway, and getting clearings from somebody like me who can support you through that by clearing out the old wiring. So you have more activation towards going for the new actively. It's easier for you. You're choosing it. It's propelling you. You're getting synchronicities bringing you along. So you're just kind of surrendering at that point, acting like a chess piece for the divine and your higher self and what you're here to really live up to, and letting yourself take the guidance, take the action step from the guidance. Right. But you have to take that action step. So expecting yourself to be all on board when you go to do something new is unreasonable.
Right. It's unreasonable. There's invariably the resistance, because that's why you haven't done it already, right? So in part, so definitely. And I love the name of your book, the Dragon Master Creatrix, even though I don't know what that really means yet, to be honest. I haven't had a chance to check out your book yet. But what I love is that is the dragon, and just even the idea of the dragon energy. You know, that I think is so important. I think it speaks to what you're talking about.
How so?
Right? Because it's like, well, it's where, you know, there is that part, like people, like if you talk about the corporate aspect, right? So we push. Oh my God, I just can't, don't even care anymore, you know, and I surrender, I give up, and I was giving myself to source now. And then you know, you got people that come to us that say, I just want to be, that's all I want. Don't make me do anything. I just want to be. That's where they are. And that's a beautiful space. And then it's like, okay, but there may be something, you know, that wants to emerge here. You know, there's something wanting to come through you, you know, so you do need to follow those nudges, you know, all that. No, I can't. I'm going to go. It's going to be just like the last time. I want to see, you know, oh my God. No. Like that. And so, you know, whatever you want to call it, like the idea of like an enlightened dragon or whatever, you know, like that dragon energy, they've got the dragon energy, but they've made it wrong. They've made it bad because of the imbalances you talked about, right? So it's like that energy wants to come forth, and it's a matter of, you know, for me, I heard you in my own, you know, imagination, hearing you saying, yeah, you got to ride that dragon. That's what it is. You need to ride that dragon energy. And so that's what's taking you. And so that's the thing is to trust the power that we have. You're so right. I totally agree with that. And it's not that we think we're too stupid and dumb and we're just no good. And that's less of it than the idea that we actually do believe we are brilliant and amazing, all the things like Marianne Williamson or whoever did the quote. There's all the disputes on that, but whoever said it, right? But it's like, we actually believe like we can have it all deep down inside, I believe. And the idea is like, yeah, but I'm told that's wrong, and we're going to destroy you if you get that. Like, we're going to kill you because of all the programming and the past life stuff. So
it's have power, don't you see it? You see it the way you were going no with so much emphasis. It shows me you've worked with people in that resistance and in that fear. So even though you're saying what you're saying, I just thank you for letting me step in and interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead. No, take off.
Thank you, mate. All right. So good collaboration. Yeah. The idea of, how do I want to say this? The idea that people are more afraid of their power. I don't know, when you say, I think down inside, or I feel down inside, we all believe we're brilliant and we can have it all. I know what I see. So people have to believe that there's more in order to invest in working with me in the Magic Manifestation and Money Flow Signature Program. Logically, they have to sense there's something more than what I'm experiencing in my day-to-day life. I want to access that. So there seems to be one way to approach that, which is there's manifestation of a physical problem like disease or lack of full health, or there's crisis like divorce or unemployment, firing from a job. All of that's crisis causing a person to look beyond the physical situation of their lives, the mundane day-to-day life where they were just humming along. Something has broken through to cause them to look for more. That's one person. Another type of person is somebody who senses and knows that there's more that they could be accessing, and they just don't know how to reach it. And that's where I come in. So in these two different kinds of people, I've been more focusing on, like I say, if you're addicted to the suffering paradigm, I'm not the right mentor for you. I find it fascinating, and COVID comes in here because I don't philosophize about COVID. I've been talking about this grand shift in a fever when we are in some healing mode. Our systems purge the old, the same way a fever has to peak before it breaks. So, and I've seen that through every physical malady. I've seen that through emotional changes that lead to behavioral changes. All shifts are like that. They get worse before they get better at a certain point. But I've been talking about this great shift of the old paradigm collapsing and the new one coming in since 2011. So I don't philosophize about COVID, but it's interesting to me, keeping that in mind as I say this, the requirement for crisis in order for a catalyst to shake somebody up out of their daily lives in order to look beyond. So why I'm saying this is because even with somebody who comes in, this other person who doesn't require crisis to catalyze them to proactively choose more for themselves and learn how to live up even more to their full potential. I find so much of the time I'm clearing out, you can have it all. I'm clearing out blocks from either their parental imprinting or their conditioning from their society or some trauma that's happened that the ego mind can't possibly field consciously. So it gets buried down in the relevant chakra in the body, or there's unconscious definitions and beliefs about how life works, or there's karma, which I've spent tens of thousands of dollars and decades learning how to clear on behalf of my people. It's really intense clearing karma. So if a chakra is mind, body, and spirit, the intersection of those three, the spirit part is where how I can access the karma and the past life stuff. So what I'm saying to you is people can come in with their heart, believing that there's more available, and they're going for it and they're investing in it, actively taking action for it. But it's fascinating to me that, and this is why I even brought up the social memes before, because I feel like so many people bang themselves over the head with guilt and blame and self-punishment because they're not able to achieve that. Just relax, just breathe, just be here now, like all those positive, affirmative social media memes. And people get down on themselves when they're not able to do that, and that they're not able to do that. And what I have found is, for example, affirmations don't work. I have blonde hair. I don't look in a mirror and say, I have blonde hair, because I already have it. Rich people don't look in a mirror and say, I am rich. So what I have seen the function of affirmations do, until you're at a certain level of purifying your consciousness and raising your vibration, all they do is catalyze the blocks, the resistance that, well, I'm not. And this is why I'm not, to come up, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I have seen that through the techniques I use and the clearings and activations and how I see the whole mind, body, spirit system coming together with the very divergent backgrounds I have to get the holistic approach piecemealed, the way I have, is there are actual clearings that have to happen. Even if somebody says intellectually, I don't believe that, I believe I can have it all, they have their father or their stepfather telling them, be seen and not heard. So they won't speak up. Or the fifth chakra or the throat chakra also won't. It's where we choose from. It's where we create from. It's where courage is from. So co-creation, choices that will lead to co-creation, like us collaborating, are there. And so if you have had a father that's told, or a stepfather that told you to sit down, shut up, that's really harsh, but be seen but not heard, then they won't choose more. So even though their heart's willing for it, I have to do certain stuff.
Right. We have to do the work. We have to do the work. Like, yeah, you work on the chakras, and that's part of what you do, right? So we need to address the energy that's there, that's going on. For me,
Yes.
one of the things that I feel that is so simple for people to do, and I'll share it with everybody freely. You don't have to buy my $100,000 system to understand it, but all you have to do is ask. I mean, one level. I'm not saying, okay, that's the silver bullet for everything. I'm just saying one key thing you can do is you can just ask the energies that come up. Just when you learn how to tune in more, it's like, just ask it. What are you trying to tell me? What are you really trying to tell me? The funny thing is all the contracted energies are always telling us just the opposite of how we're perceiving it. It's like the energy just wants to move. It wants to move. And then when it's not moving, it's saying, I suck, I can't speak up, my dad says shut up. Instead of, when you really look more deeply, it's actually the opposite, is what my experience has been. When we really tune in, we look at these things more like, I love you, would you just speak up? That's what I'm actually like. They said just the opposite, but that's the real message.
Yep.
And it's so amazing to just to start to continue to awaken to those truths for us, because that it could be just the opposite is mind-blowing. But client after client that I work with, they literally experience it. Oh, it was just the opposite. I never knew that. They never really understood that at all, right? And then we start to see like that, all along, like everything's been trying to really serve our evolution and our good, right? And when we wake up to that, and then that's where we have a chance to really be free. But we have to address, you're right, we have to address these deeper energies. Otherwise, you could be like, I believe it, I affirm, I'm rich, I'm doing it, I'm taking action. Then you just get burnt out, you don't get the results, you just feel like you're banging your head on the wall, nothing's happening because something is still there that's saying, no, you ain't having that. So totally. I mean, you have to address those things. So I know because we're getting along in the show here, I know you offered to us generously right away, right in the beginning of the show. I've never had a guest do that. That was so fun. You offered maybe to do some work with us, a little like money clearing something. Maybe that would give us, because I was going to ask, well, how do you go about clearing energies and whatnot? Do you want to share something with us now, maybe a little for 10 minutes or so or something?
Yes, and I will. I know it's a podcast, so warning, there will be moments of silence. You said a couple of things. It's so funny, Daniel. I actually, on another interview, excuse me while I rub my eyes, an interviewer asked me, it was said to me after I said, a typical quote I find myself repeating over and over again is that the mind interprets things the opposite of how the soul or the universe means them. And he said, you should get it on a t-shirt. So you just said much the same thing. It's the opposite. The mind construes and makes, like a woman in my mastermind just got fired from her job, and she just had her first one-on-one this week. She's like, what? Oh my God, did my frequency raise in the one-on-one? What happened? Because now I'm fired. And she's like, I guess I have more time to create what I actually want. And so that doesn't happen all the time, by the way. You don't work with me and suddenly get fired. But then you said the silver nugget where you don't have to give, you don't have to buy my $100,000 system. I'm not selling. I keep my programs really low price because on one level, I want as many people to access them as possible. But it's also, my message still is that people expect themselves to be able to intellectually get there and do it on their own. And even with what you just said, it's so perfect and beautiful, working with the energies as they come up. So I find, nonetheless, when I am about to do this clearing, I'm going into the subconscious and the unconscious, and there are parts of us, ourselves, that we don't consciously hear. Right. So even when we go in and ask, what are you? There is still blindness that's happening. So when there is that blindness, or when you say, I want A, and you see yourself doing things that don't choose A, but choose Z, know there's a block there in that discrepancy. And then get the help. You'll get through it quicker rather than like, years of like journal writing and affirmation saying. You can speed up this process and evolve so much quicker if you don't always go at it alone. But one of the things that along like what you're saying, ask the energy, what are you really trying to tell me? because it's going to show up, the events possibly or likely opposite of what's really being felt and perceived and meant. Further mindfulness is you can work with your thoughts and ask it, well, first acknowledge it, a fear-driven thought, want to acknowledge it, and then say, okay, so let's say your belief is, Daniel, let's ask, what's a typical belief that you find around money that your clients are working with, or that you have that I can help you with? I always end up clearing the hosts when I work with them on interviews.
Yeah, a typical one for money would be, a common one for me and other people that could be lurking, no matter what we want to believe and say we believe. It could be like, I got to work hard. I got to work hard.
That's where I was going to go to.
Really hard, then I'm going to make that money,
Yep, that's where I was going to go to. Perfect match. Okay. So let's say that thought comes up. Let's say that your new friend is driving by and when we're not in lockdown and wants to go buy a lottery ticket, and you're like, that stuff doesn't work. And your friend has a completely opposite view and in fact wins that night.
Right.
So what you could do with that doesn't really work is, wait a minute. Okay, I hear you. First, acknowledge. Second, question it, but is that even true? Third, redirect it to create the new neurological pathways. How does it get any better than this? Fourth, ask the question, what else is possible? Which then invites your own emanating chakras in your own field out to the greater field of possibilities that we live within to bring in that answer, because nature abhors a vacuum.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's a great redirect. It accomplishes a lot all at once with those 4 aspects. So I have to work hard for my money. Let me just see how we're doing on time. Okay.
Work hard for my money. I have to work hard to make big impact. If I'm going to reach millions of people, I have to work millions of hours, or these kind of concepts. Yeah.
To have a lot of money or to be wealthy, I have to work hard. Or to be abundant, I have to work hard. To be financially well off, I have to work hard. I almost hear I have to work hard. End of,
That's a good insight. Yeah, the idea that then it reminds me of my parents, like my mom.
Indeed.
Worked like crazy, she worked a night and day for many years, and then she totally burned out, so that puts a picture in your mind that it leads to, you're just like alcohol, like an alcoholic, a workaholic, like you're just working with. My dad wasn't as much, but he still had that strong kind of work ethic energy in him too. So German, energy and all that.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I do know that.
Yeah.
I'm a German masterminder. There's some heaviness in that culture, that upbringing and entrainment. A lot of them, their shoulders are hunched and up to their ears.
Right. Don't be a slacker. Get to work.
So the back's all scrunched up.
Like when I was a kid, I was more happy-go-lucky. I was more like work, forget it. Let's just relax. But then I took the bait at some point. I'm eventually, as I became an adult, mostly, not earlier in my life. And I was like, oh, well, okay, now I'll work everybody. I'll work night and day. I'd be sleeping at my graduate classes. I would go to fall asleep every day with my book in my hands. I was like, no, I'll do it. I just went to the whole other extreme, and man, did I crash, fast. And so, yeah, but yeah, when you ask, like, yeah, we all got something, right? So I'm like, okay, that's one for me. I teach all about let it be easy, because that's part of what I continue to want to embody. I've had, in a great business with very little hours, and what I've already experienced that. But the idea of next level wealth, there could be ideas like, oh, well, theoretically, yeah, of course, I know it can be easy. Oh my God, I might have to work really hard. Those ideas come up.
Reaching the next level of wealth requires a lot of hard work.
Yeah. I've seen too many examples in my industry, so to speak, of people that's what I see a lot of. There's other examples but like that like comes up in my face, like when I see those examples. Like I'm like, oh my God, look at them. They're working like nonstop.
I have to work really hard and nonstop in order to achieve a higher level of wealth.
That's the concern. Like, oh, don't take that bait. Oh my God, what if that's true? What if, maybe I need to do that in order to prove that I'm a good person, that I'm good at, that I'm good enough somehow, that I put enough in, that I cared enough, that I'm not just for the money, that I was gave such service,
I
such
do.
so much service.
My first book, What If There's Nothing Wrong? I wrote my last year in Asia it's part of my dissertation for my PhD before I came back. And in it, I'm talking about what I sense from living just so removed from our country for so long as an expat. Like, yeah, we had productivity have to happen in order as a colony that wanted to separate from the mama, the crown. We had to learn textile production from the Native Americans. We had to learn to be productive. So that's in our roots in America. But beyond that, I feel like it got out of balance somewhere where it's like, if I'm productive, I'm proving my worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an overemphasis. If I am productive, I'm proving my worth really just hit you. You want to do that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I know I could barely even be aware of someone and send them a blessing and they could change their life. I know that too, but it's like, there's still that other wiring in there.
Wait, what's that one you're talking about? The other wiring as opposed to.
Like I could just in a nanosecond, I could be aware of something about you and it'll change your life.
As opposed to being hard and long and involved.
Yeah, I could say, okay, could you, all I ask is $1,000, contribution for what I just did. It could have taken me less than a second. So I realized the value of that. But then I think part of me at some point is like, but how far are we going to go with this? And then I might feel guilty. Like, wait a minute, are you really even doing anything? Why? All these questions come in.
So that was doubt. I'm not going to touch that one because I feel like you can manage that. I'm going to go back to something that like I could get your back with that might be harder for you to unpack and clear.
Right. Perfect.
It's something about the productivity. It's something about the hard work.
Right. Yeah.
In order to get what I want, I have to be productive and work hard in order to get what I want. I have to work hard and be productive. Do you feel like I have to work hard and be productive, or it's in order to get I feel like it's in order to get something your programming has been.
My first thought is in order to, have the impact I want in the world, I'm going to have to work lots of hours. That's what I'm tuned into right now as we're in this conversation.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys sit back when you're listening to this, and as you know, time and space doesn't matter. This is just as potent listening to the recording as done live on Daniel Today here now. And in fact, you're listening to this on the day of a full moon. So any healing work we do 3 days before a full moon or on the day of or 3 days after, it's even more magnified. So the day this releases is a full moon. So woohoo, more power there. So please don't be driving. Please don't be, it'd be better for you not to be multitasking right now. Please don't be having to care for an elder, a parent, or a young child, because you may get spacey. You may get itchy, you may yawn, you may feel tingles, you may get goosebumps, you may feel heat, you may have like a sudden pain somewhere in your body, typically the joints or the back. But it's what that is it's the energy moving some of those sensations, and some of the other ones is the energy becoming unblocked. And if you don't feel anything at all, totally fine too, no worries. It's still working. So if you all do what I'm doing right now, inhale and exhale, it will allow us to shift a little bit into more receptive mode. Some of you could even sit there with your palms up in the air so you're even more receptive, so the energy is able to get in more and do more on your behalf. So what would it take for you to allow yourself to reach the next level of impact, of wealth, free of having to work hard and be productive? Anything and everything that doesn't allow for that. Are you willing to burn up with the flames of transmutation?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all might want to do what you just saw him do. That invites the energy in even more. Okay. So we're going to go into I'm going to go right at the karma, any and all karma as appropriate, including but not limited to financial karma, burning any and all of that up that is in any way locking you into or has created or is perpetuating having to be productive, having to work hard in order to reach the next level of positive impact on more people and more wealth. All of the free-floating thoughts and traumas, burning all of those up. Good, Daniel, good receiving. All of the imprints from your parents and parents' parents and lineage. All of the conditioning from any source whatsoever. Having to be productive and work hard to reach more people, to get to the next level of positive impact, to get to the next level of wealth. Burning it all up, all the creation points, all the causes for perpetuating this or locking this into place, including but not limited to all the contracts, oaths, vows you've ever taken or made across all lifetimes and timelines, including but not limited to vows of poverty, vows of austerity, all computations, beliefs, expectations, judgments, projections at all levels of consciousness that have in any way inserted and created and locked in place or perpetuating. I have to work hard and be productive in order to have a bigger impact, a bigger positive impact on more people. And I have to work hard and be productive in order to reach the next level of wealth. Burning it all up now with the flames of transmutation. Daniel, I see this going right to the brainstem for you.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's exactly where my attention was the minute you said it.
Brilliant. That's reptilian brain. That's really old wiring. Also the top of the adrenal cortex. Really good. Good, your heart's lightening. You might want to inhale and exhale, let more in. I'm also seeing a perception of at one point, like having a lot of indoctrination from a more forceful, authoritative figure that's ended up as conditioning, almost like yelling in your ear, you have to work hard in order to get anywhere. Strong discipline, or not so much as discipline, but just strong, authoritative, like shaking the finger, wagging it at you. I perceive it in this lifetime, but I'm not sure if it's actually a grandfather conditioning a parent of yours? Do you know?
No, it doesn't. I mean, not that I'm aware of. It feels more past life to me, but
Okay. Yeah, it felt like that too, but I don't like to defer to past life. I tend to question that.
okay.
I
Well,
go there just as frequently as you do, but I'm guessing, but I hesitate before going there automatically, but yes, it also has that ancient, like there's an echo to it that shows up with past life stuff. So there was a strong reaction when I did the contracts and vows part of past life where you were like on a building site, almost like a big old ancient cathedral. You were a worker, like a bricklayer, and you just were a hard ass laborer, and you didn't have a lot of um, um, wealth and status, and your body was strong, but you beat it down. That feels really resonant and familiar, doesn't it?
yeah, my own way. I don't know that exact scene, maybe not, but that energy sounds right.
Yeah, the energy is what to focus on. It might be my way of explaining it, the imagery, that might be wrong, but it's to communicate what you got. And so that might be why I went to your brainstem, to the adrenal cortex. Have you had adrenal burnout in this lifetime?
Not that I'm aware of. I've always had good energy overall in terms of having energy.
Good. I know that when I came back from Asia, I saw that like 80 to 85% of Americans seemed to be in adrenal burnout, but it was comparative to what I had gotten used to working with too. So it feels like it's the brainstem aspect is some part of this productivity, push, push, push energetic that we're clearing out. And some of it may have gotten carried over in the cellular matrix from that past life. Your shoulders seem to be having a weight taken off of them. I see them dropping down. My eyes are closed. There's less tightness around your sacral, out to the hips, the pelvic floor, and the back. The energy's running through more. You feeling anything at your feet or knees?
Yeah, some as you mentioned it, then I'm like, oh yeah, I feel energy there.
Do you feel any tingling at your toes or heat at your feet?
I won't call it heat. Maybe some vibrating energy.
This is now going feeding your solar plexus. Good. Do you perceive the energy anywhere right now?
Well, where I feel the shift really happen is in that brainstem area and around my head.
Good.
That's like the big one that I noticed the shift as we went in. It started clenching and then it opened a lot.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. That jawline's more to the fifth chakra, so you'll have an easier time making choices and being intuitively guided choices that will create more ease rather than the requirement of all that productivity and hard work.
I mean, the energy I get again is like it's called Merlin energy. Like just well, you're gonna focus on hard work and you're gonna be distracted from your deeper gifts. So let it be easy, let it be fun, like I say.
Why do you call that the Merlin energy? I'm continuing to run this clearing, by the way.
I don't know. Just magical energy, magic, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, it's just so simple. It's so easy.
Okay, I'm going to activate the upgrade now. So any and all latent keys and codes and ancient wisdom, or latent talents within you, and any and all blessings and support possible to bring this all into alignment with your highest possibilities and your highest potential to be realized, activating the upgrade now. Okay. We are complete with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The brainstem was important work that just got done.
Yeah, it's really, really powerful. It's powerful. You know, every clearing is powerful in its own unique way. This is really good, really good. I mean, it really had me feeling again like I like this feeling of letting it be so easy again. The other thing is to allow myself to be an avatar, an example of what's possible to others, rather than, because one of the things that as a kid I remember when I'd be good at something, sometimes I would judge myself. I'd be like, wait a minute, why am I better than they are? You know, I'm like, I shouldn't be better, you know, like a fairness sort of thing. Like I didn't want to,
Sweet.
I didn't want them to feel bad that I was overtaking them at certain times when I was younger. So it's a feeling of like, no, just you're being an example, you know, you're just being an example, and just be that wondrous example, and to relax with that one. So it's all part of what's coming through. So thank you. That was really great.
You deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And just so everybody knows, just to reiterate this, like this clearing is for everyone, of course. So, you know, just know that you're listed in, I'm sure. Because I know when I work with people and there's a crowd, I know everybody's getting the clearing at the same time. So this is really awesome. I could really, you know, because I'm attuned enough to know what's going on with people's work. So you really know what you're doing with working with the energy. I can really attest to that. So I really want to highly recommend that people check out your work, and I'm sure they felt that through the process too. So thank you for your gift today.
Thank you.
From there, we are actually getting towards the end of the show. So, but this is huge to spend this time. Let's get this huge gift. You have the book. We didn't really get into specifically what the book is about, but you want to share more about how people can get more of you, including around the book.
Yes. Dragon Master Creatrix, Conversations with a Female Spiritual Teacher for These New Times, is on Amazon. And then you can go to the bonus page, dragonmastercreatrix.com. And there's some really great bonuses where I'm doing energy projection and transmissions from a stone circle based around harvest and abundance in Ireland, and 2 other videos from other sacred sites or megaliths. And then a whole month of Activate Your Magic where you can get more of this. That's all at vibrationalupgrade.com. Activate Your Magic is the beginner level to work with me if you only want to get your toes wet, but still do some advanced work.
Yeah, so those are all free gifts. We'll put, once you buy the book, all those initial things you shared there. So we'll put all the links in here to do. To just get all these great free gifts you just mentioned briefly. And yeah, so definitely check out the book, and I'm sure you guys can find plenty about Dr. Alison at her website too, which is, again, can you share that again?
Vibrationalupgrade.com.
Vibrationalupgrade.com. Okay, great.
So
great.
Hey, Daniel, I'm noticing your energy and I'm loving it. So what would it take for you to walk through and me to walk through the rest of our work lives with this sense of relaxation and ease?
Well, what I could anchor that came up before is I was like, because this idea has kept coming to me again and again consistently. I was like, what if I just treat it every single day like it's a retreat day? In other words, like I might be facilitating a retreat, but like I'm in the retreat energy. And so
Yes.
that's what I want to embrace. That's my intention, is to embrace every single day as a retreat day and get past my false beliefs that that's not possible. You're not going to possibly do all the things you want to do by being a retreat. So I want to overcome that by simply just saying, no, I don't believe that anymore. And without needing any evidence, any proof, or any more concepts, just no, that's not true. I'm going to trust that every day can be a retreat day, and I'm going to go ahead because I've experienced it before. I haven't allowed myself to trust letting more in from that space. So
Yeah, that's what I see with you. If you wouldn't mind me saying, do you mind me giving you an impression intuitively I'm getting? I don't have to.
Real quick, then we want to wrap it up. But yeah, go ahead, real quick.
Just that I see you expanding to the next level, and you're kind of pushing your old boundaries. And I'm not seeing this in anything other than intuitively from your energy, like you're pushing against your boundaries right now to get out of an old way of being you.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. So yeah, very good, very good. Can I share?
Hallelujah.
Now, what I do on the show, I don't know if they let you know when you signed up for this whole thing. I do take a minute or two to tune in to you. Are you open to receiving?
Yes.
Okay, all right, let's do that real quick just before we wrap up. Okay, let me just see if I have a couple, 2-3 messages for you today.
And no, they did not tell me about the special gift.
Okay, let's see. They're showing me your third eye, energy. So they want to the energy or whatever wants to tell you that you have so much more energy wanting to come through that chakra. That's just like whoa, like it's just like this huge energy wanting to come through there. And let me see if they got some more insights on that to share. Yeah, there's a level that you can see and perceive and know things even beyond what you've allowed so far, as they're telling me. And that's what I was picking up while you were tuning into me too. Like you're strong, but it could be so much stronger even yet. So they just want to share that with you. Okay. Let me see what else I'm getting. I mean, so strong. I'll even add this. Like you could like have that experience. Like I know what's going on with every being on the planet. Like it's that strong, like beyond belief, like a beyond belief feeling.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like putting like the crown, like you're like a princess or whatever, something like that, and like just the energy of like play and like being that playful, innocent child, and that it's safe, that you're whole, that you're well, that you deserve it. I'm hearing you deserve it. Because I'm getting something around that. Like the old stuff would have been. I'm sure you worked through a lot, but like just this, I'm not worthy. You're not up to speed, kid. Is what I'm hearing as the messages. So it's like, yeah, no, I mean, because that's part of what drove a lot of what you did. Like that was the beauty of it. Like it drove you to learn so much. But like there was this message I'm hearing you got about, yeah, you're not up to speed, kid. You're not quite there, whatever. And like you totally blown that out of the water. Now it's time to relax and play and just let everything be easier.
Yeah.
For you.
Yes. So let's just do a little fist bump on that, brother. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, I'll just share those couple of things. We could always talk again sometime, but
thank you, my dear. That was fun. What a gift I got.
Yes.
Thank you.
And everybody, for me, if you want to check me out, go to yoursacredpurpose.com. There's energy scan consultation opportunity there. You can check that out. And also get the Meditate to Make Money meditation, because people are making more money and getting more connected and awakening through the Meditate to Make Money meditation. Take advantage of that free gift at yoursacredpurpose.com. And Dr. Alison, we wrap everything up by giving you the last words. So what are the last things you'd like to share for today?
Just, I'm seeing relax, enjoy, have fun.
Yeah. And enjoy more money too.
Okay.
Specifically for this show, right? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, it's so it is. All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a delight. I'm just so
Same here,
grateful
Daniel.
for this, Dr. Allison, and
Thank
thank
you.
you for this, so amazing. And everybody, again, check everything out with Dr. Allison, and keep on tuning in here, and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time.
Woohoo!
Woohoo.
Namaste.
You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.